Hello, hello, hi, hi, Audra. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome to the stream.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is EmilyHanhan. This is my friend and co-host. Yeah, co-host, Audra from Audra at Home. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Everyone that is here live, thank you so much for hanging out with us right here, right now. Thank you to our mods and everyone that keeps this boat afloat. And if you're watching on the replay, first of all, there is a live chat. If it's available and you are looking at your screen, you can open it up and follow along. But you can also, as Audra reminded me, you could listen. You could just like chill. We read comments. We try to keep up as best we can. Welcome to any lurkers, anyone just hanging out, whatever. If you are new here, my name is Emily. This is Audra. We both have channels. Audra's is linked in the description box. So is our Patreons, YouTube memberships, all of our social media, Venmo, all that good stuff. So if you're not subscribed to Audra or me, you should go ahead and do that. And you can go check out all the other good stuff we have going on. And also, I want to thank patrons and YouTube members for both of our channels for literally keeping my ship afloat for damn sure. And there's so many familiar faces and everyone in the chat. I'm quickly gonna say hi. I see Monica and Shannon and Allie and Sharon and Harper, Yolanda, Nika, Lisa Marie. Yes, thank you, Shannon. Hit the like. Welcome, new to the live chat. We're so happy to have you here, and thank you for like saying hi and being a part of the chat. And Sin, Shalar, and Patrick, and Lori, and so many names that I recognize. And yes, Yolanda is who Deeper Skin is, and Gabby. So many people. Thank you for being here. If I didn't say your name, I see you. I can only say so many words before I need to breathe. And on that note, I just took a big breath because I was like, oh, I'm not breathing. And we have a thorn in the house. What's up?
I like because I was like, I was just watching Thorn. Oh, Thorn is finished.
I know. Thorn streams on Twitch. You should follow them on Twitch. They are like it is the most pleasant, just wonderful energy in the streams. Isabel and Cecily and Katie, and just thank you all for being here. Yes, doing big things over on Twitch. So we talk about everything on our live streams and on our channels, kind of just dabble in all kinds of stuff. But makeup is, I mean, it's what brought me to YouTube originally. It's why I started a channel. And so if you haven't heard, if you're, living under a rock, rightfully so, I understand rock life in 2021. Becca has announced that they are shutting down in September of 2021, Becca Cosmetics. And while like a lot of people have talked about it, I felt like, well, we haven't talked about it and we have opinions about makeup and things. So we have lots of opinions, by the way. If you're new to that, I always say buckle up. And
right, like please buckle up. Also, gender neutral terms. Thank you.
Yes. So that's a good reminder. All of the people that I called out, our audience, including anybody that's not active in the chat, we have amazing people in here that come from all walks of life. And it's a good practice. It's something I'm working on myself. It's just like when you're greeting, and even if you're not greeting the whole group, gender neutral is preferred. It's a hard habit to break. But yes, creatures. I'm from the South, and I'm okay with people using y'all, even if you're not from the South. Folks, beautiful humans. So we just try to keep the space as accepting and welcoming to everybody as we can. So it's little things that, and that's why, like, if a mod asks you to adjust your language. It is for everyone's benefit. It's not for anyone's harm. Big brand. So Allie comes right in with some spice. I love having you in the chats, Allie. Said I checked my bingo card and I had big brand going out of business on it. It was not expecting it to be Becca. So the Becca conversation is interesting because for months now, probably a year now, I had roasted you because Audra was over here like, I really like Becca. I like things for Becca. And I'm just like,
I do. They have good products.
oh, like just bored, just very, very bored. And I'm not saying they haven't had good products. I just, the things that I've tried from them, I actually haven't had the best experience with. But they also have always, they've been a brand for a while that has kind of bored me. So I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I just felt like it was definitely a sign that like 2020 is going to have after effects for a long time coming, in my opinion. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you want to? I mean, I can keep going, but I can also let you talk.
I try not to talk too so I think for me, just looking at like Becca had really good complexion products, to be honest. Like a lot of their primers are really quite nice. There's just like one of theirs that I absolutely was like, throw that in the trash and I never want to see it again. But like their primers are quite nice. Their foundations are nice. Their highlighters are lovely. I feel like so many others have talked about is like influencer marketing is far more important than people really want to give it credit for. Because I don't think, like you were saying, you were surprised, like a little surprised, and I was a little surprised. And more of that's because they have a parent company. And so because they have a parent company, the idea of Becca going under didn't see, like, nobody would have guessed that. Like, I think a lot of people would have guessed a lot of like other brands or indie brands, but like to watch it be Becca and they have a parent company, it's like no one's safe.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was a lack of, like, to me, it wasn't lack of good products because they did have those. I think that they just did not market the way that they needed to. I feel like they got burned from Jaclyn Hill, and then they were just like, we're going to do celebrity things. And like, nobody gives a fuck about celebrities. I'm so sorry.
I feel like they were ahead of the curve. They were definitely ahead of the curve with the highlighter trend, it seems. And they had the Jaclyn things. And I'm assuming they probably pumped a lot of money into those collabs. And I'm sure they made a lot of money, but I bet there was definitely some big losses with the eyeshadow palette that got pulled. And then there was the alleged lawsuit or something with Morphe and Becca because of similar packaging between different collabs. But I just feel like they had a moment, and I felt like they were ahead of the ahead of the market with influencer marketing, with what they were releasing, and then it's like they stumbled and then just couldn't pick back up. And yeah, and once I saw everyone talking about getting backup products through Octoly, I was like,
yeah,
like brand new releases, brand new things.
Like, I'm pretty sure I got my Becca highlighter in a BoxyCharm or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've received a lot of things through. I think that they tried to use like marketing that they thought was going to go places, but then the love for subscription, like makeup subscription boxes, started to wane. Like the rush for everybody to have one. That started to wane, and then it started turning. The tide started turning as they started finding out the shit in the box wasn't the same sometimes as what you were getting in the store, and all of that started happening. And I just feel like, here's the thing. Today, I'm going to be the one to say it. If you do not use influencer marketing, and I'm not even saying like, oh, you have to bunches of people, but I don't know very many creators that were on Becca's PR list. Like,
yeah,
Tina. I think is one that I knew. And I think that Glam Girl Chelsea is, but I
Okay.
don't feel like with other brands, like say what you will about ColourPop, but there's a ton of people on their PR list that I, like Robert Welch's, Hannah's on their PR. But like, even if she's not
Yeah.
taking it, like they're on the PR list. Like, so there's all these people that you run into that are on the PR list. Butte Bean's on their PR list. I just feel like Gabby and a few people were saying, like that was 4 or 5 years ago that they got ahead of the curve, and then they just faltered in their marketing style and their marketing techniques.
I feel like they just didn't actually have tastemakers working for them because, like
Ooh.
Abby said, they invested in people like not the Kardashians, but Chloe, like Chloe and
Yeah.
Malika, or even Chrissy Teigen, who I find kind of charming, but I'm more about her personal life and maybe her cooking than I am
Oh, I
about
don't like
her
Chrissy
makeup.
Teigen at all.
Eh,
I could
whatever.
throw her in the
Different
garbage. I
structures of
don't
folks.
care.
Well, outside of the Kardashians, I try not to hate on any specific woman, but it's hard sometimes. But I don't know. I don't mind her, but I get it. But like it
Yeah.
just didn't feel like it made sense. And even outside of comparing Becca to a brand like ColourPop, comparing Becca to a brand like even I mean, I'm trying to so the biggest brand that I think about is Ofra, and that I think
Yeah.
that's also part of it. Is that Ofra, to a different extreme that I don't always love, really got into the influencer marketing game and also really hit the super blinding highlight trend.
Yeah.
And so I felt like there was this like quick slip of talking about Becca to now a lot of the influencers talking about Ofra because they were getting Ofra PR, they had Ofra codes, and then other brands just started meeting or exceeding the highlight game. And
Yeah.
so Becca wasn't, they couldn't pick up that steam. And then I felt like every collab they did was a falter. Like
Yes. They
every
just did
one.
not pick the right people.
And even Tina, the fancy face, did a car chat about Becca closing, and she made really, really good points about how they had some formulas that could have like demolished Hourglass because she
Mm-hmm.
was talking about the powders in the Chloe Malika 4 pans, and I think it's the same formula that was in those weird 6 pan palette that they came out with afterwards. They're
Mm-hmm.
like baked powders were competitively like similarly textured to Hourglass powders, but nobody was
Mm-hmm.
buying them because it was Chloe and Malika. They only had 2 colorways. When they came out with that six
Yeah.
pan palette, they only had 2 colorways. So it's like it was frustrating because I saw they had some good formulas, but they just didn't have the right people in house, like the right taste makers in a weird way.
Yeah,
So
it seemed like they were just off on some random, because here's the thing about the zero pigment line, because it's not just the foundation, they have like a line of zero
mhm.
pigment stuff. I first they should have called it a primer, but obviously. But I
Yes,
think the thing was that like very much to me showed that they were stuck in marketing from like 2016.
it's
Um
super
like marketing
gimmicky.
ideas, yes. Like the intense gimmick, like it's a zero pigment foundation. We're like, that's not foundation. And like, and that's the thing is, we're all much more savvy about makeup now. So no one was sitting there thinking like, oh, there's a clear foundation, because that what would be the point? I
Yeah.
mean, like, let's think this through. The point of foundation is to build your foundation. It helps you to like take care of any hyperpigmentation and help you to cover any redness, yellow, like what like little things that you don't want, even out your skin tone. And then here
Yes.
they come traipsing along with like, here you go. We have zero pigment foundation. And like, you know what? If this was 2016, y'all probably could have tricked a lot of us. Y'all could have tricked so many
It's
of us, just like they did with that damn silly sponge. We would have lost our damn
you know
minds.
what? It makes me think of just how out of touch they are with influencer marketing because that
Mhm.
to me is like, oh, let's release this. Everybody will have thumbnails. Like, is it a foundation? is it actually like, and it's
I
like,
know.
no, there were a handful of people that did fall into that trap, maybe more than a handful, but
Yeah.
the rest of us, a lot of us that are beauty nerds have progressed past that, and we could
Yeah.
see that. Hi, Cinnamon, welcome. Welcome to live. But I felt like the people that, like, yes, there are going to be people that fall into that marketing gimmick, but I felt like the kind of beauty nerds are like, yeah, we're good. That's just a primer. But it felt very much like old beauty YouTube gimmick kind of
Yeah.
releases. And yeah, if they had
Like, I
called
would
it
not have
a
been
primer,
surprised if they
they
had
had
somebody
called
in
it
the
a
ad.
face gloss.
Yeah.
Yeah, like doing the like drip. Like, were you gonna
Yeah,
say
like
that?
honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if somebody wasn't putting on their wings with a freaking fork tine. Like that's the kind of marketing that I was
Contouring
looking
their
at.
nose with scissors, like
Yeah. It's just
uh,
weird. So I saw that come out and I was like, y'all really could have had a good product on hand that could have had people talking by just calling it a primer.
yeah.
But you called it a foundation, and then like just the Emperor's New Foundation wasn't working for people. People like nobody. The only people I feel like who bought that out of curiosity were influencers who had the money to buy it. The rest of us,
Yes.
I feel like very much were like, I'm not wasting my money. I'm not going to do it. Like that's how
Yeah.
I felt. I was like, I'm not wasting my money. It's like it was like $39. I was like, I'm not spending thirty
Oh
nine
my god, I
dollars.
didn't realize it was that. And like I watched
Yes.
Tina's video on it, and that was only mainly because I like Tina. But like I think the thing is, so like Gabby says the Becca girl went to Hourglass, Ofra, Glossier, like the Glossier Super Dew, whatever
Yeah.
that oil glowy glossy primer that sometimes you see them market as like a face highlighter or a face gloss. If they had
Yeah.
marketed it like that, they could have maybe brought back in some of that Glossier fresh face, because it's not just Glossier doing that kind of makeup anymore, but that
Yeah.
fresh faced makeup person. But when you market it as this zero pigment foundation, we're like, it's overpriced. I'll wait for it to go on sale. And then you saw reviews and you were like, actually, I'm good. I'm gonna use the things that I already love.
Yeah.
And I think Legally Black Beauty made a good point, and it was kind of mentioned about Estee Lauder. So Jason, I have a
Yes.
feeling Becca is doing poorly as a business. It's doing poorly as an Estee Lauder business. It doesn't have people at the top who care enough to keep it going despite its profitability. Here's the thing is actually the fact that they had a parent company isn't what surprised me about them closing. I was actually less surprised because I've worked at companies and I've seen other companies where it's like, if you like, I've worked at, company where like they bought up a bunch of other smaller related brands and then just shuttered. Like, and
Yeah.
part of it is eating up your own competition. You're like, you know
Yeah.
what? You're not doing well enough. We'll close you down. I wouldn't be surprised, and I've said this in other streams, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the formulas that we saw in Becca show up in other Estee Lauder like brands as like a new release.
Well, and kind of to
Um,
piggyback on that, I also don't think Estee Lauder is doing remarkably well. I really think a
it's
lot of
true.
these parent companies are suffering because they're old. Like, and let me just elaborate on this.
Oh, I agree with you.
They're old in the sense of they have not changed their marketing strategies for a long time. The last one to even attempt that change was like CoverGirl when they were like, we're going cruelty free.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they've done enough to get out of the like Katy Perry's wearing our mascara like kind of mentality
Yeah.
I don't feel like enough of them have moved over into the new world of marketing, the new world where people are getting information about makeup. I think like these big parent brands like this aren't paying attention and they're just kind of letting people like do dumb shit. And so like these brands like Becca, I think had to make choices. And I feel like I think allegedly that they did not want to make the choices that Estee Lauder wanted them to make. And rather than go further and take their brand to a place that they did not want to take it, they were like, we'll close our doors, which is probably why it's till September instead of just like,
Yeah.
we're shutting down tomorrow.
Well, and Lauren May Beauty had, in my opinion, a really good video about Becca. First of all, a good message of like, don't support this closing brand just because you're sad they're going. Don't buy a fuck ton of backups because they're going away. So Day says, I think Estee Lauder could have easily made changes at Becca, hire new people, come out with actually interesting products. But the brand, the trademark wasn't strong enough to incentivize them. But Laura May made these good points about some of the newer stuff Becca had released felt like they were shifting direction. That new face, the powder, the glowy thing, and the tinted moisturizer they just released, even their holiday collection, even though it wasn't quite for me, I could see a shift happening. I could see them trying. And actually, their face product release stuff, I was like, if that goes on sale, I'm gonna try it to buy it because it was like a glowy base, glowy tinted moisturizer kind of situation. But I also think the chat has kind of an interesting direction about like what other brands are we surprised are still around or think might like follow this, because I do think
a lot of people think it's going to be like Too Faced, but Too Faced is not. It's not.
No, I don't think it's going to be Too Faced or Tarte or NARS or
Too Faced makes an enormous amount of money, like because like they sell in QVC and that is a gold mine for them. Like they sell a lot of Too Faced there. And here's the thing, if you're like a 40 some odd like basic bitch woman, no offense to anyone who is, but like also you wear like a plaid infinity scarf and like very neutral clothes. You know what I'm talking about? And you like all of your photos when you're out and about have you with the Starbucks cup and the straw is always in your teeth and you're like, then like you're buying toothpaste. Like that you remember that. Like that's I remember that brand and you just keep walking towards it. So I don't think it's going to be Too Faced. I don't think it's going to be Tarte. I feel like Tarte has a lot that people don't realize, like how much shit is Tarte.
Same with Urban Decay. With Urban Decay. I don't see Too Faced, Tarte, or Urban Decay going away. I don't see Morphe going away. Cecily mentioned that. Their shit is too cheap. They make too much money off of what they sell. I don't think they're going anywhere. If I had to pick 5 brands that I wouldn't be surprised to see close down, a couple have already been mentioned in the chat. Stila, Laura Mercier, Lorac, Buxom, and Pure. Yeah. Because they're smaller brands and some of them do have full ranges of product. But when you think about in-store displays, like when I think about Ulta, there's all these like brands that have more space, Lancome, Too Faced, Tarte, Urban Decay, Clinique. And then there's like the brands that are all kind of shoved in the back part of the high-end section that all have like little stands. And it's those kinds of brands.
Or they get like one shelf.
Yeah.
Like that. You get here, you get here, you get here.
Are they okay? Oh, and Lipstick Queen with the green like mood. This is a good question though from Ryan. Will makeup counters at the mall be extinct?
Here's the thing. Due to the parallelogram, I do not think we will return, hopefully, to a time where you are having live testers in store anymore. I think that is kind of a long gone deal because we already kind of knew that they were sort of gross. You know what I mean? Like we all kind of know. But you started having various creators who were like, they would make a video, be like, putting testers directly on my face because I'm a moron, and getting like weird shit happening to their eye and all this stuff. Should I have said that? But anyways.
I mean, you're right. You're right. Videos exist. They exist.
Like, I love, like, here's the thing. I love my skin too much to be doing that. I don't have health insurance. I don't need to like put weird makeup on my eye to determine that I shouldn't mess with it. But
I, I think Shannon actually makes a good point. I think
yes,
malls will become extinct.
it is definitely
Online
happening.
shopping is a limit, especially the more retailers that open up that are competing with the Sephoras of the world, the Cult
Yep.
Beauty, Camera Ready Cosmetics, these sites that are gathering smaller brands in one space. Because that's the thing is that like and like oh, just as an aside, seeing Danessa Myrick being picked up by Sephora, fuck yeah. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
that's all. Even though I don't care about Sephora, like I think that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing, but like that's why I think malls are, yeah, malls, testers, all of that probably be going away. But I hope that means that there will be like an uptick or revamp of how samples are done or how samples are produced. Like, because
Yeah,
I
I
think if
mean,
every foundation had like pre-packaged samples of each color, would completely change returns and all of that.
yeah, and
But
I
go ahead.
also here's the other thing too. Like living in Texas in the DFW area, which I'm sure there are many people from Texas, Thorn, been out here. I am going to tell you that I'm watching them extinct malls, and what they are turning everything into is just like a shopping center, and there's restaurants, there's shopping, there's
Yeah.
bars, and instead of it being like this enclosed space, and I think it's very expensive to maintain. I think it's far more expensive than maintaining like a small portion of a building. I don't even think the majority of those stores need to be that large anymore. Like Macy's, all of these department
That
stores do not need to be that big. They don't need all of that anymore. This is just my opinion,
I agree
because
completely.
realistically, we all go online. A lot of people go online even before, the plethora went down. People would often shop online and just go pick up in the store. So
Yeah.
because they just didn't want to deal with largesse and like getting here and moving all that. So I think that that's something that's already that has been changing the makeup industry for a while, but the parallelogram really just nailed it home that it's like because I didn't ever like testers and I hated it when they were like, "Would you like me to do your makeup?" I'm like, "No, because I have no idea if you
Oh
cleaned
no no
everything."
no no no.
I don't know if you
I will
where
I will say I was probably more reckless, not reckless testers, but like I would swatch things. But
yeah.
now I'm like, no. And there was a question earlier in the chat about Sephora and JCPenney, and Gabby answered it, but I wanted to say Sephora and JCPenney contracts are canceled, and now they're going to be
Mhm.
Sephora's and Kohl's. So instead
Yeah.
of the weird little Kohl's, which is also why I think brands like Lorac, oh, the Balm, might be
Hmm.
going away because those are the
Yeah.
kinds of brands that were carried in like Kohl's and other places.
Yeah.
So it's just an
Exactly,
interesting thing to
Maisha.
think about. And
That's the
also,
thing.
actually, and this is also why I think what you were talking about, Audra, is so key. The whole shop online, pick up in store. Unfortunately, so I don't know a lot, but I knowing how the whatever, knowing how Amazon works, how they're like warehouses in different areas. Like a store like Macy's could have a
Mhm.
warehouse in a really like the center of a couple of populated areas and be able to offer next day pickup or same day pickup
Mhm.
at a small storefront because they have it all at the warehouse and they just have messengers that bring it. You don't
Yeah,
need a huge 4-story department store anymore, especially when it comes to
correct.
like clothes, makeup, electronics. You just
Mhm.
have people shop online and pick up in store. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
department
And
stores just don't. they're not what they used to be. Like the point
Yeah.
of the department store back in the day was that it was your catch-all for everything, right? Like before you
Mhm.
had the whole, like they were the malls before malls, if that even makes sense. Before they had like the mall, like these stores were standalone. JCPenney was a standalone store. Sears was a standalone
Yes.
store, and they had all of their shit. But then mall culture started to show up, and people didn't go to the JCPenney and the Sears because like it wasn't part of the mall. So then they started attaching themselves to the mall. They like you inevitably every mall that you go to has like a JCPenney, a Nordstrom's, a Macy's,
Yeah.
and has all that stuff on the ends. And that's like normally where you park, and that's how you remember where you park. But the issue is like nobody goes to these places for electronics anymore. Nobody's going there to buy a TV. Like no people aren't
No.
even really going there to buy, back to school clothing like they used to. It's just not like they just need one floor. Like they two
Yeah.
at max,
I
but really it's just
I
one.
feel like Walmart and Target and then online shopping is killing the
Mhm.
department store because
Yes.
a TV and back to school clothes and groceries, if I live near a Walmart, I'd probably go there or I'd go to a
Yep.
Target or I'd
Yep.
go online. Um it's just an interesting world. And I think the big thing, and I said this to Audra, and I've said this to other friends pretty early into 2020, let's say
Mhm.
halfway through the year, I was like, this year is going to have long lasting effects, both on the beauty industry and I think everything. I think it's like, and this is a lot of people have said this, I think the Becca thing is only the beginning. I
It
think
really
that
is.
there's going to be brands, there's going to be online stores, in-person stores that are going to close or very minimalize their presence. Like it's just it's going to be interesting. Like I feel like if you're a consumer that gets attached to brands, this is a good time to learn how to break that
Yes.
because things are going to change. Like things are
Yeah.
going to change. Yeah. Movie theaters are in trouble. Like and I like going to the movie theater if I was in the right mood. I didn't
I
know
don't
that they already
mind the
shut down
movie
the
theater.
Glossier stores.
Yeah.
Um
Because there's just like
yeah.
there's no reason like because now that they're like the only thing that they need to change and fix, like most of these stores, they need to send a return sticky so that you can
With
just tape the box up and
everything.
return it. Yes, with everything. That's all they need is a
You
return, and it has to be sticky, like adhere it. So you just like and return
printers
the
need
issue
to
they want.
be extinct. I
Yes.
do not need to own a printer to do a return. I don't own a printer. And the amount of times where I'm like, I literally have to take myself to a FedEx and pay like 50 cents to get something printed out, or I don't ever return it. And
Yeah.
that makes me really
Because
angry because I can't afford to just not return things that don't work for me. Um,
yeah. Yeah. I
Also,
mean,
there
I
was
think.
a,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No, you go.
Oh, just to kind of finish out with the Becca situation right quick is
Yeah.
like I think when we're bringing up influencer marketing, I don't say this lightly, and I don't say this because like I'm a quote unquote influencer. I just think that if you don't pay attention to what's happening, there's so many people that I saw in this chat who were like, I don't have anything from Becca. And like, why? And like, a lot of y'all are makeup lovers. So why do you
Yeah.
think that is? If enough people, enough of your favorite creators are either like not getting it in PR or they're not buying it because it's just they bought something else that time. They bought something else. And Becca was always one of those things where you're like, oh, I'll get this next time, or oh, I'll get this next time. I feel like it was very much
Yeah.
a, oh, I'll get this next time brand, next time they're having a sale or like whatever. And so because they just didn't really have a large PR group, it didn't look like. And I watch a lot of creators, and I can only name a
Yeah.
small number of them that
I
get Becca
felt like I
PR.
saw more people getting it through Octoly than actually through Becca. And I think the
Yeah.
thing with the influencer part of it, it's not just like, oh, influencers are so important. It's that influencers have insight into formulas and are able to give. So, like, from everything I've heard, Becca eyeshadow formulas are trash.
Yes.
So they weren't well enough they weren't well enough and known for their eyeshadow to kind of ride the slightly weaker formula like an Urban Decay does, where people that are into that kind of softer eyeshadow or whatever will go to them. And then they weren't bold enough or interesting enough or textured enough for influencers to really be impressed by it. And
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of have to look at that and either say, okay, we need to find a way to attract the minimal makeup wearer that will buy
Mm-hmm.
this palette and just do like a nice sheer wash of color, or we
Yeah.
need to not release this shit so that we don't lose money off it. Because I bet that
Yeah, like
happened
that
with like
palette from
all
New
of these.
Makeup Nonsense.
Yeah, or like they had that volcano palette where the outside packaging was stunning. It was like a marble cross section, like very like like cross section of a mountain kind of thing, like slice of crystal. But the inside was just like, oh. I was like, I want the packaging. I don't want the stuff, so I'm not gonna buy it. So I just feel like there is a way, there is insight with influencer marketing. There is
Yeah.
insight that you can gain from sending PR and listening to feedback. And there's insight, you can even have tester groups and you can say, we'll send you this product early and, give us your feedback. And there's ways to do that where a big brand like Estee Lauder doesn't have to invest a bunch of money into it, but you can still get feedback and try to make it something that can catch a certain niche market.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I like, again, I'm not like with, like you said, you have, when you're marketing, you have to pay attention to what is the thing that people pay attention to. And that's why when we were talking about the Chrissy Teigen and the Khloe Kardashian thing just didn't make any sense. Cause it's like,
no.
who did y'all just check to see who was trending one day? And then like, that's how you picked who you were going to collab with? Because it's like, you didn't look at why these people could have been trending. And so I just feel like, these days, it's a lot more difficult to make it without having influencers that are interested in your product, not just giving them free stuff, but in general, having them be excited and or interested. If they're not even interested in even trying to buy the product, and like if I'm sitting here being like, not today, I'm not going to be buying that, and then another of your favorite YouTube creator says that, another one after that, another one after that, then like that does influence people, right? Like like people's yes or passes and they're buy it or not buy it and hot or not, whatever they're calling them. If 99% of them are uninterested in it, then there's a good chance that you as the viewer are just gonna be like, yeah, I might not buy it. Like nobody seems interested. You might buy it anyway, but a lot of us our buying habits can be influenced by others.
And I also want to say the influencer market, I think it is important, but I also understand there's a huge market of makeup consumers outside of YouTube watchers.
Mm-hmm.
But influencers are also on Instagram. They're also on TikTok. They're also on fucking Facebook. Like there is the YouTube makeup nerds, and I say makeup nerds with all love. I'm a fucking nerd. It's just the best way for me to describe that. There's that kind of group where we are researching, we're finding out, we want to like see if it's special, unique. And then there are people that are just casual makeup shoppers. But you're still influenced by people that you follow on Instagram or whatever, even if they're not makeup people. If it's a Kardashian, if it's somebody on TikTok or whatever, if they're not talking about a brand, like Gabby said, influencers are trendsetters. And so we can feel whatever way we want to feel about the influencer culture, but we're all affected by it. We are all influenced by it in some way. So it's just like we can diminish the importance of like the YouTube beauty space because we are a bit of a smaller core group. But overall, influencer doesn't just mean YouTube. So
yeah, and that's exactly what I'm getting, because like there are people who found me and I received a message from somebody who was like, oh my gosh, I keep finding, like, I went to go find this brand and here you are. I follow you on TikTok and now I follow you here as well. They have no idea I have a whole ass YouTube channel. Do you know? And I didn't even
Yeah.
say anything. I was just like, cool. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
putting in work and I go on about my business. And that's exactly what you're talking about, is like, people just don't realize, especially how many influencers put their work on more than one platform. Hell, Jackie Aina just did a video talking about that, and how, like,
Oh
don't want to
yeah.
put all their eggs in one basket. And, you know, they may not be filming as many YouTube videos and they're still going to do it, but they're getting active on their other platforms. And that is
Yeah.
the thing. Most influencers are, if you're smart, you are going to try to fuck with all your other platforms if you can. You know, and you're not going to
Diversify
make it
your
like,
money streams.
diversify
Diversify
your
your money.
bonds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Some people know where
Don't
that's coming
apologize.
from, and I can't say the rest. Or we'll get demonetized.
Um,
Anyways, but like, that's the thing, is like, you have all of these platforms, and these platforms have been rising and rising and rising. And I just feel like Becca just stayed back here, like everybody was just doing this on Instagram and their stories. Like, I feel like they just stayed there. They just didn't come out of that. They just didn't come out of bling filter.
just there being like
Yes. They just
very
did not.
same old, same old.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
exact same, like, holding up the product, you know, where like everybody was doing this. They were like, they'd be like this, and you're in their photos, they'd be like, and like holding the product and like holding, ooh, and you're like,
Very much
all
alike.
right.
I'm not, this isn't even close to my face, but, and you're like,
I know, like, I'm gonna put it on, makeup, you know, and people
but,
like going like this, and the pink fuzzy one that like kind of gives you like bling in there, and they're like, with their
and the
highlight.
last part of it is that I do think, now that we've come this far, I think they were burned by an influencer. So it
Mm-hmm.
actually doesn't surprise me that they were like, fuck that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they were burned very specifically like a beauty influencer, not a celebrity, not a musician, not an actor, a beauty influencer. So I actually, in the end, I'm not surprised that they ran away from that market. And I think Gabby put it perfectly. It's not that COVID was the problem or the panorama was the problem for Becca. It's that it revealed the problems that they have had for a long time.
Yes.
And that's what this is doing. That's what the parallelogram is doing. It's going to reveal all of the faults, all of the weaknesses in all of the systems. So,
Yes. And I would definitely agree with
yeah.
that. Like, it's very much like a, um the curtain is being slid back for a lot of these brands that they weren't
Mm-hmm.
expecting. I also think a lot of brands did not really pay attention to the put up or shut up movement, and they just thought that they were going to
Yeah.
skate by. So that's why I'm telling you, I feel like there's a lot more brands we're going to watch go down. I don't think it's going to be, if don't come back and be like, you were wrong. I actually don't think it's going to be a lot of indie brands. And that is because indie brands, a lot of them are already operating on a very low, like, they're making money, obviously, but they're already operating on a scarcity sense. Like, we don't make a shit ton of product. We don't want to like have too much or too little of anything. And we make it as we sell it. And that's going to be that, right? So I don't think we're going to see a ton of indie brands going under, because indie brands thrive, to me, in this kind of environment, because a lot of indie brands are interesting. And as Emily and I talked about behind the scenes, like, the eyes are the thing right now. Like, get your eyes looking because like you're wearing a mask.
That's a big part of it too. It's like, when this much of your face is covered up, why are you not thinking about eyes? I will say I wouldn't be surprised if we lose a lot of indie brands, because they thrive on, they work on a scarcity level, but that means one bad week, one bad month, one thing happening, one person being out for 6 months because
That's
of the
true. That's true.
panorama. Like, as somebody that has grew up in a small business, has worked with small businesses, and lives in New York, and has been hearing and seeing how many, and I know the food industry is different from the beauty industry, but how many restaurants and those kinds of storefronts are gone, decimated.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a tough, I think, couple of years, but I think that that's why it's also so important. Like, I'm like, look, if it's about, like, okay, I was just watching Behind the Beauty with the owner of the new brand LYS Love Yourself, which is a new brand that was picked up by Sephora. And I'm like, even though I think they're indie, but like where I'm like, I want to buy their new foundation versus buying like an older Becca one or another big brand, because it's like why I want to buy indie eyeshadows rather than something from, you know, the Too Faced, the Urban Decay, the whatever, because I know my dollar goes further within those companies. My dollar goes further, and it goes further to support them. And so for me, that's really important right now.
Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Y'all keep talking. I'll be right back.
Yes. And Gabby makes a good point. Indie brands are having problems with inventory, with having enough raw material, having the products in stock. Like, so that's why I'm like, I think it's a weird space, and I'm not so sure. Like, I want all indie brands to do their things, but I also know that, like I said, with small business life, one wrong move and you could really be screwed over for a very long time. Yeah, that was the thing, is I hadn't looked at, so Ali said the brands like LIS are more affordable. So I'd been seeing, and I think I'd seen the price here and there, but in tonight's episode, they were talking about how their foundation is $22. And I was like, yes, please. I would like to try this, especially at that price point and being in an accessible store like Sephora. Oh, good night, Sherry. Our phones are so annoying sometimes. Yeah, materials and like keeping things actually made and in stock. Um, oh wait, okay.
Sorry, y'all. I
So
apologize. My old lady body was acting old lady-y. I wanted to,
that happens.
like, yeah, it was like I went for a walk today, and as the weather changes, like it hurt. I had the AC on today, if that gives you any indication of what's going on with weather. So like everything just started hurting, and I was like, I can't get comfortable.
Oh,
I
that's
did want to
annoying.
put. Yeah, I was like, that's why I've been sitting here kind of making weird faces and be like, let me just try to move this way. Let me try to move that way. Like my old body just was like being old as fuck. But I think when you're talking about scarcity too, like indie brands are facing that. I think the indie brands that are gonna survive are the ones who are far more transparent about when they are doing pre-sales, and that this is in fact a pre-sale. The being transparent about when this plans to ship, and being transparent about the communication, most of the steps like along the way. I think the indie brands that might have difficulties are the ones who just don't do that communication. Not communicating with your customers is enough to make them not come back. It doesn't matter if they purchase something, because I know a lot of these brands will try to do that. They will, it's a pre-order, so like you can't get a refund. And you're like, yeah, but I pre-ordered it 4 months ago, expecting it 2 months ago, and you haven't said anything about it coming.
I can do a chargeback. Like that's legitimately what's happening. And that's why, like, so Shalar asked a question about my birthday is next Saturday. I want to buy myself something as an exception to my no buy year. What indie brand should I get? And Day, Legally Black Beauty, like asked a perfect question in terms of it depends on if you want something instant gratification or not, because some indies ship a lot faster than others. Some indies work where what they have available on their site is ready to go unless it's listed as pre-order, and then some places have everything available but it's all pre-order, and then some brands work kind of in the middle of all of that. So that's something I would say. But yeah, I have Glam Shop on my list there. I think a Polish-based brand. I love my Beauty Glow Galaxy shadows. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say, but with JD Glow, if they have it on their website, it's usually like ready to ship, but they don't always have everything in stock. Like, but there's so many questions to what should I buy, depending on what you like, what you're missing in your collection, what makes your magpie brain go, ooh, shiny.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing is, you have such variety in indie and variety in price as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like you're talking about Love Yourself, LYS, and
Yeah.
I bringing that up. Let me see if I have it here. Like I have two different foundations from Flower that are very inexpensive. I think that that is another thing. Is like
Oh
we
yeah.
may start seeing some of these luxury brands. Like I have been convinced for the longest time that Marc Jacobs is like on its way,
Yeah.
like the Marc Jacobs beauty is on its way out, even though they're releasing like new stuff, quote unquote. And I just say this because it's always on sale. Like, oh, it's
But
always
it's
on
just like
sale.
with Becca. If Becca brings out more stuff, here's the thing, is big brands work really far ahead. They are
Yeah.
buying trend forecasts for a year to 2 years out. So a brand like Marc Jacobs closing anytime soon wouldn't surprise me. A brand like Becca still having new releases come out between now and September doesn't surprise me. They can't
Yeah.
just cancel the things. They've already invested the cost to produce it.
Hmm.
So they're gonna produce it and try to sell whatever the hell they can from it. And whatever they
Yeah.
lose, they've already lost. Um
Yeah, because I feel like
Audra,
the luster of luxury beauty is starting to wear off on
like
people. Like
this,
I think at one point it was exciting and it was
yeah.
fun and you felt like you were treating yourself. But like, and I'm not gonna use the pandemic as like the reason why, because like a lot of people are still working from home and in their houses. So you put makeup on just for fun, who cares anyway, right?
Yeah.
But I think that I have been 2020, almost all 2020. I was bored as fuck by almost every palette that came out from the big brands. I was
Yeah.
bored. I was like, there's nothing exciting happening here. It is the same shit. It's just a different day. And I just don't feel like this is like, why am I paying like for an Urban Decay palette? I'm just like, why am I paying $50 for this when I can take that $50 and get a bunch of shiny, like for an extra $25 I can get like 6 shades from Davina and be like, I'm in multi-chrome heaven. Like, no. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And like you were telling me about the Catrice, this True Skin foundation. I've
hmm
worn it twice. It is really fucking nice. And it's a glass bottle with a pump.
hmm
And like, yes, do I still have some luxury foundations on my radar? Sure,
yeah.
I do. But to buy something from the drugstore or indie like that LYS brand or something else where the formula feels really nice, the packaging feels really nice, and I'm gonna spend, I mean, this was like 11, $12, I think.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
super expensive.
yeah. So it's just an interesting world right now where it's like, yeah, if you want high impact, especially when it comes to eyeshadow, indies, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Best bang for your buck. And if you're looking for palettes, there are indie brands that are doing palettes. If you're into singles, I mean, Audra and I are biased, and singles are like my sweet spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, indie mainstream releases were so eyeshadow wise so boring to me, just so
Yeah.
boring. So
Oh, Harper
I
Rings,
know
Davina and Cleona are usually doing pre-order. So that's the thing there. So there's
Davina
some
doesn't
of
always do pre-order. They do like, we're gonna restock on this day. You get in
mhm.
like, bloodbath is gonna happen. You better be there or not. But
Yes.
yeah,
That's true. And they're not
um,
always great about like they're like, it's gonna happen at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just kidding. It happened at 11:57. But
yeah. We did have a couple of questions about what we had on our faces tonight. Do you want
oh,
to share, or I'm ready. I can share what I have on my face, and then
no, go ahead.
if you want to go. So I'm actually using a fucking drugstore eyeshadow palette. I bought the LA Girl main stage palette, Desert Dream, because of Tina. It looks like this. And tonight I have a bunch of the plummy shades on my eyes. It probably helped if I took off my glasses. with some iridescent chameleons from Terra Moon on my very inner corner. And then I have prop oh shoot, what color is this? Finesse on my lips. And Chimera from Ritual Diffie highlighter with Warm Honey from Cover FX blush. So
Yeah, I have on. Well, like the black is controversial. And so is the gold here. That's from a now defunct palette that I had previously received in PR. But this red shade with a little bit of the like pinky in that is the Collective Cosmetics, and I also have their highlighter on. This was that like the Brimstone collection, so of course I bought that. And then on my lips, I've colored Rain and Maybelline actually because I finally gave in and got one of them funny glosses.
oh, do you like them? Do you like the
I think so. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
I felt like it was okay. Wait, what's the gold liner?
Oh, the gold liner is Marc Jacobs.
Oh, great liners. Marc Jacobs. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, almost natural. I mean, I have green highlighter on and plus some smoky eyes, but thank you, I guess. Yeah, I really want that spider highlighter yeah.
Yes, Cecily. Yeah, that red shimmer in that palette is like this one is actually really nice as well. I do like it. It's gonna be like a little like deeper, and I was just kind of like fussing around because I really just wanted to see what this gold liner would look like on like deep skin, and I am not fucking disappointed. I was like,
you know, I know you do the gold, like you do like gold glitter, but I bet gold freckles with that eyeliner would be bomb. Just like a sparkly gold, like Cecily, if you want any red indie shimmer single recommendations, I'm sure we can help with that. Just hit us up or whatever. I don't know.
Do you have these kind, Liz? Do you have the like what is this one? I have the fine liner and then I had the highliners. This kind, and then oh god, Jesus, my back.
I love the matte gel. Oh, their lids though, or I mean, they close snugly, which is good because they stay good longer. But this is the matte gel liner.
Yeah.
It's like the most blue, cobalt blue, creamy, wonderful in my waterline.
Oh, Gabby, if you're into Drugstore, listen, my goofy ass. I forgot to tell you this, Em, but like, I think that, well, no, I know. I apparently in a moment of, I don't know what happened. I feel like I was going to bed and then I woke up and I had an email that said like, we're working on your order for you. And I was like, what order? I guess I ordered from Ulta. Here's the thing it's a shitload. It's primers. It's all primers. And like, then there's like a blush. This is the weirdest configuration of shit. I think it's like 4 or 5 drugstore primers, a blush, and like some other thing. It's so weird. I don't know who I am. I don't know what happened. I just did. Yeah, these are like, yeah. I don't know if you're talking to me, but like, yes.
Wait, Sharon was talking about blue, and I'm like, yes, this is the matte gel liner from Marc Jacobs. For me, I have really a difficult, annoying water lines, and the matte formula in particular stays the best like ever. Oh yes, Fever Dream Ulta order. Yeah.
Like
mine was kind of a fever dream. I picked up lash stuff. I bought some fake lashes, like little clusters, and then like 2 different lash glue options because I've been like,
who are you?
Slightly curious, but I also have a feeling it's going to go terribly, terribly wrong. So I need to find a patient moment to play with them, and I will probably do it in a video so that y'all can see the absolute horrendous mess that it turns into.
Yeah, I bought five fucking primers. a
That's
blush,
amazing.
and a lippy. I have no idea what happened there. It was all very, very, very inexpensive. I don't know what happened. Like I was literally going to bed, and then I wake up and I'm just like, and I was like, oh. And then what was weird is I just like was looking and I was like, wait, I got a lot of primers, but I think that somewhere in my head, I had been thinking that I was going to try some drugstore primers for peeps so that y'all who like live your best lives in the drugstore, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I want to live my best life there
The
as
drugstore has
well.
stepped it up, like especially for the face and the lips. Propa Finesse is the color that I have, which by the way, Propa is coming out with reds. And
finally, I knew it. I told you.
I know. Like I'm very excited about that. Brow pencil. You like the fine, thin brow pencil though, right, Cecily? Because my favorite is the one that Audra introduced me to, but it's more creamy.
Yeah, mine's the Stay Put Milani Brow
Milani
Pomade pencil.
Yeah. Isabel. Actually, you know what put Becca out of business? Cold Beauty giving me a free Becca primer with every other order.
If that were the case, then Smashbox would have been out of business a long time ago. Because like every single time, like every beauty box, every time you ordered something, there was like a Smashbox primer in there. Every single time you're like, I don't know how to tell y'all this, but like, one, I don't like it. But two, I have like 52 of them at this point.
Smashbox is another, I don't expect them to go out of business, but I don't understand how they still exist.
I really don't know who Smashbox exists. Like I genuinely try to remember. Like I'm like, what do they make? What is it that they do?
I mean, they do a lot, but the point is like nothing seems all that great.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, what do they do? Because like I don't see anybody go like, oh my gosh, my holy grail product is Smashbox. Like it's never
currently the only thing from Smashbox I've ever purchased, no less repurchased, is their eye primer. And you can see I'm using it, but I have another eye primer that I'm going to try once this is done. And so if that one's even decent, I probably won't buy that again.
Oh, Nicole, I hope Smashbox sticks around just for the eyeshadow primer because it's the only one that works for me.
Yeah, I actually have the NARS one that I bought like a while back that I'm going to try and test out but with this one once I get closer to finishing this one. Yeah. Their primers I just don't like, but I don't like silicone primers.
I do not like silicone primers.
And so I've never liked Smashbox. So
because if you have like oily skin and big pores, silicone like this is me, my opinion is that if you have oily skin and big pores, silicone primers only make that worse and nothing sticks to them for me. Like sticks to it. Like I put it on and then I'm just like, where is my makeup? It's not on my face. Like
it slides off. I just hate the feeling of it. Like because that's why I didn't used to wear foundation. I don't need to, but like a lot of older foundation formulas just felt really thick and like I could like claw my fingers through them on my face, and that's what primer feels like to me. I'm just like,
well, to me it just feels like a cat is consistently licking you, like just in the face, just like with their scratchy tongues, and it's dry, you know, that dry cat lick where they're like and you're like,
also I just wanted
like,
to
love you, cat, but I don't like your kisses.
I just want to say, Angie, the Milani eye primer is a divisive thing because I've heard multiple people. Yeah. So I know it did that with you, with Teresa, and I know a couple of people in LGG have talked about they didn't realize their eyes were irritated and then they stopped using the Milani eye primer and they realized that their irritation that felt like allergies or something was the primer. So
my eyes were like on fire. I was like, what the fuck? Like the first time I used it, I didn't really think about it. And then like when I used it again, I was like, I think this shit set my eyes on fire. And then Teresa did her video. And
remember when that happened and
And
you were
Emily
like,
was like immediately Marco Polo me, be like, you need to see Teresa's video because that thing that happened might be. And so I went and I was like, oh my God. And I think I even commented being like, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Set my
oh
eyes
yeah.
aflame.
I know Cecily and I think Ani also said that. Oh, tell Case I said thank you. Um, oh, Melody made me feel like I rubbed Texas Pete on my eyes.
Yes. It
Ah,
was just
that's
like, because like there was just like a burning sensation on my lids. Like the only like and I remember because there's literally a video of me doing a get ready with me, and at one point I believe I say something to the effect of, I think that this primer is burning my eye. I swear to you. Like I think I say something about like the burning sensation. I'm like, we're just gonna keep going forward. But it was that like
burn.
the way that I
No,
do
there's
that to myself.
say
No,
Angie,
love
say.
Angie, love what
No,
you love.
it's just funny because I know people that love that primer, and then I feel like people that hate it, like there's no in between. It's like either it destroys my eyes or it's perfect for my eyes. Oh,
Yeah, and like I'm finding out like there's a lot of I can't. Hi, my name is Audra. I can't wear drugstore eyeshadow on my eyes. It makes them itch and burn literally every time. I am so sorry to be a disappointment to all of you. I know that you're going to cancel me and you're going to be like, Audra, we can't watch your channel if you are not going to put some weird Almay 3 thing on trio on your eye. And I'm just like, well, first of all, I'm black, so like I can't wear Almay. But
second of
the
all,
other part
you're.
of it,
I was gonna say, first of all, we all know you're bougie, and we accept that your eyeballs are bougie too,
they
and they
really
can't
are. They were
handle
not,
drugstore.
remember because we did our drugstore get ready with me, and I was like, I got to get this shit off my eyes because
Can you sing it, Audra? Oh, like I had literally not bought a drugstore eye product in probably a year until I bought this, and it's fine. Like it has some nice colors in it, but I'm not, and it doesn't. I don't have the eye irritation issue, but I'm still like, yeah, it's just not my thing. Almonds.
like I just like, and this is the thing. This is what sucks because there's a lot of people who you would think, even creators you don't like, and you might get upset and be like, oh yeah, they're just assholes. They refuse to try drugstore eyeshadow. People have sensitivities. I mean, and
Yeah.
you've seen, especially if you watch Teresa's channel, Teresa can get all kinds of just reactions to the simplest of ingredients. It's just her eye
Yes.
goes like,
Yes.
ah. So like the other thing too is like around the eye is so sensitive, right?
Yeah.
And the way that I think about it is if you've been consistently putting like good, clean, quote unquote, clean stuff around your on and around your eyes, nothing weird or like not as chemically. And by chemically, I mean like weird, like it smells kind of chemically, all that stuff, powdery, all of that, like a Revlon shadow, not like that, right? And you ain't been fucking with that, especially if you use a lot of indies. When you try to go back and use even some regular shadows, you're like, what the fuck is going on with my eyes? It's just a weird sensation. Like I experience it with some of my other shadows, and some of it's just like, oh, this is like super old and I should mess with it. But like a
Yeah.
lot of like drugstore eyeshadow, it's not formulated, I guess, finely enough. Is that it? I don't know, but it's not.
There's probably something like a preservative, or there's probably a common ingredient in less expensive drugstore, like less expensive eyeshadow, that you're actually allergic to, and you just don't realize that it's an allergy. That's my take on it, is that there's something that's used either as a preservative or as a actual product ingredient that you're more sensitive to. And so,
Yeah.
like, let's say it was talc for some reason. You might be able to wear a powder on your face with talc because it's not so close to that direct water blood access.
Yeah. Don't be scared,
But
Raquel. Use them if you want
no,
to.
just don't buy a bunch of it. Like buy one thing from one brand and try
Yeah.
it. And if it works, good. And if it doesn't, don't buy more. But like
Yeah.
don't just, yeah. Um yeah, so but this is also just another good example of like makeup is so subjective. And
Yes.
so I think I mean this kind of goes with the Becca thing too, and it goes with all of the influencer culture. It's something I always like to repeat. It's like you will hear somebody say, "This is so good, this is amazing," or they might say, "This is trash," and it could work
Hmm.
completely different on you. That doesn't mean they're
Yeah.
lying. Yeah, they could be a salesperson that's trying to sell you on some shit. That's very true, but that's not a guarantee. It just means that everyone reacts differently.
Yeah, because I'm putting together all this stuff for my bi-monthly bops and flops, and I'm sure there's going to be things on there where people are like, "How dare you?" But I don't like it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like it. There's other things where I'm like, I love it. Like I like the Catrice foundation you and I both love. Turns
Yeah.
out it's not for Millie. Millie doesn't like it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like everyone, like I said, has different chemistry, different skin texture, skin like type. And also you can wear something and it can change. Like I
Yes.
could say right now, I'm really enjoying this, but also I've only worn it twice. So please take that with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 weeks, I could be like, yeah, not so much. Or in 2 months or in a year. It doesn't mean I was lying. It just means that
Yeah.
I had more experience with it.
And that's honestly one of the
So
reasons why I just decided to switch, like what everybody else is their favorites and fails or whatever. I decided to switch mine to bi-monthly. I wanted to have time with products and enjoy and not feel rushed and not feel like I had to have enough stuff for a video. Like I do when I do monthly. And the thing is, I know that it's stupid of me to do because that's a good video. That video actually like does well every month that I do it. But I also looked at it from the perspective of I want to have more time to try shit so I can talk about it a little bit more. And y'all know the shit in my collection goes in a rotation. So y'all know how it works.
but also it's a good video because you're articulate and you're making good points. When you don't have shit to talk about, it's not going to be good. You might get the view. It doesn't mean you're going to get the watch time, which means you're not going to get the ad.
Yeah.
No.
And
So
I just want it to be like packed full of information and a fun time. And I didn't want to feel like I was pushing. There are a few things. I didn't want to feel like I was pushing myself to buy new stuff, to try new stuff, to have stuff for it. I wanted to just be like my normal self where it's just like, okay, I'm going to, pick up a couple things here, a couple things. We're not talking about the 5 primers I just bought. I don't know what happened with that. Okay.
That's okay. I was literally in our drugstore video talking about how I'm not buying anything right now, but I might put in a big haul order from Ulta because I have points and gift certificates. And I did. I'm still not buying anything else right now, but like I take advantage of it when I can. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of like things that you can do as an influencer that theoretically is going to be good for you, your channel, whatever. It's not actually though, and so you always have to weigh those like biases because influencers influence other influencers too. So influencer marketing also works. Like I talk about, Audra made me like encourage me to buy something. Tina encouraged, like when I say they made me buy it, they didn't, but I'm saying that's where I got the idea from. So we have to think about that too when we're talking about brands going under or brands getting popular. Like there's a ripple effect.
Yeah, there
So
really is. I mean, so I'm gonna have to take my old
on
lady
that note,
back up off this chair.
I know I'm even my
I'm like,
body like I've been keeping my arm like this for some reason all night, and I'm like, oh my elbow, oh lady elbow. But first of all, Isabel, thank you for sharing that Becca is or was a Australian owned brand. I did not know
It
that.
was, yeah.
But
2001 is when they were
yeah,
founded.
wow. So 20 years. Yeah, that's right. Because I kept
20
saying
years.
20 years.
They made it to
I mean,
20
that's a
years.
good run.
That is
That's
a good
to
run.
get bought out by Estee Lauder and that's a if I was that business owner, I mean, I would be, I guess, fine with that. Actually, I don't know.
It's a nice
Whatever.
chunk of change.
Yeah. This has been a really good chat. I hope y'all enjoyed talking about makeup brands and influencer culture and all of that. We'll be back next week, Tuesday on Audra's channel, and Thursday back here with our old lady bodies, crickety cracking and, sore and all that shit. But y'all are used to that by now.
Yes.
Reminder, if you're not subscribed to Audra or you're not subscribed to me, the links are all there. You should go ahead and subscribe. If you enjoyed it, like the video. If you want to send us a little something extra, our Venmos and all of that are in the description box too. And thank you all for being here. And if you watched on replay, thank you for watching.
Congrats,
And we
Casey.
will. Oh, what are? Oh, congrats! I need to try Mirror Beauty. That's another indie brand I want to try. But anyway, thank you all for being here, and we will see you next week. And don't forget, take care of yourself, feed yourself, take a nap, whatever it is. Treat yourself better than you did yesterday. Bye.